Yes, good afternoon. It's weekend time again. It is October the 16th, 2020, and this is your edition of the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 in Esquibo and Demerara, and 99.5 if you want to take us in Berbice. And of course, you have your preference. You could go on Facebook, Kaieteur Radio on Facebook, or Kaieteur Radio live stream. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Guyana show, and there are many things to tell you about today. Long lines on the east bank of Demerara in front of the Guyana National Stadium as the Central Housing and Planning Authority hosts a day of sharing out titles to about 300 residents. Well, a number of others would have taken the decision that they're going to go there and maybe query what has happened. And as you would recall, we have over 50,000 applications on file, so people are very anxious to hear about what has happened and with their applications. So I want to tell you very quickly that it is not a very safe thing that what we see in the photographs that are surfacing there. It is not a very safe thing. So we want to ask the authorities down in the stadium there, and in a very short while I'm going to be texting the ministers and to find out whether they could put some other arrangements in place to reduce the lines that has been coiling around on the outside of the National Stadium at Providence there. That is because the people are not adhering to the social distancing measures that were supposed to be in place. That's 6 feet apart with your mask on. You could see still evidence of the people's mask. They're not wearing their mask, and I'm not sure what is it that we're looking at, whether we still have some irresponsible people, whether it is at the sake of getting a piece of land that you would put yourself out at risk. You can't do that. You got to measure it both and see how you could protect yourself. And we don't want that. And so the police has to be monitoring there, the staffers of the Central Housing and Planning Authority, and let them get this issue fixed. It's not a good thing. Many photographs surfacing on the East Bank of Demerara there, or from the East Bank of Demerara there, and it's showing you some long lines. So it is October the 16th, 2020, and there are a number of other things to talk about. Increasing violence against police by civilians, a mining camp that was found in the New River Triangle area there. And we're going to talk a little about that and tell you about what it means for security for this country. Today happens to be the World Anesthesia Day, and in a very short while, we are going to be joined by a senior official, medical official, who's going to tell us why we should be paying attention to World Anesthesia Day. We're going to have her on here for a couple of minutes. And Nigel Hines, a former or an accountant who's also would have been chairman of one of the emergent political parties, along with Robert Badal. He's resigned from NISIL because of the role that he says they would have played in flooding the success quarters. Now, this issue is a very sore issue. It is dividing. It's a very highly divisive issue in that, a lot of people from the humanitarian aspect did not really subscribe to the flooding of those lands. They said that you should give the people them a chance. On the flip side of that, the authority says that the minute that you start allowing squatting, it's the opening of the doors to many other things that people would say justification. I'm hungry, so I could steal. So there are many sides to this story as it emerges. But let's get right down into the front page of the Kaieteur as a normal. Kaieteur News, your largest selling newspaper here daily. And what we could tell you, this big newspaper here has a number of news that we should be sitting down and taking or paying attention to. Robbery at Chinese supermarket. You can remember this Chinese on the east coast of Demerara a couple of days back, in which the police believe that somebody, one of the bandits that attacked the supermarket, shot one of the Chinese there. That the police would have gone down there, but there was nobody hiding. What we were able to find is that a former deputy commissioner's son who would have been fingered in a number of other criminal cases, and who was not convicted. He remains in custody. They want to know what role he played at that shooting on the east coast of Demerara, where bandits raided a Chinese supermarket. And the reason why they're looking at him, that he was also the security guard there that took away his gun, so they want to know whether he played a role. He remains in custody for several days now, and the police, you look at the situation, the police are not mindful of holding anybody that they believe might be playing part in crime. You could recall a long time back in which certain people were above the law. If you hear that Gildarie's son or Rad's family, the people are protected, so that's no longer that. If you have done something, the police are more than likely not going to take a chance of doing anything that's going to raise eyebrows. So, ward of the Kanji, Kaieteur blocks must face independent forensic probe. This is Ramon Gaskin, an activist, a consumers advocate activist, and this is what he would have said. He says that, we must have a forensic a probe, and it must be independent. And the award, we have to go through it, in which did they advertise it? These are two blocks or two areas that's just next door or neighbors to the Stabroek block, in which Exxon in 2015 announced that it found oil. Since then, almost 20 wells that it has dug, the majority of it, more than 90% of it, would have seen oil being discovered, oil and gas, significant quantities. We passed the 8 billion barrels at the moment, and we go down to 10 billion barrels in that Stabroek block alone. And it's believed that is over 5 billion barrels of oil and the oil equivalent in the Kanji Kaieteur blocks there. And so, how did it end up in the hands of some questionable persons? That's what the investigations is ongoing by Kaieteur has found. There's been very little statements coming out. Even the opposition has been staying very quiet about this entire issue. And so a lot of persons are staying up and watching and seeing what is happening, because at the end of the day, there's a bigger picture to talk about, and Kaieteur News is talking about the big picture here. It can be that government, while it's good that you take away the VAT and everything from the water there, and you're given $25,000, when you look at it, the average monthly savings does not exceed $10,000 per household. They should not be carried away or to lose sight of the bigger picture. The front page comment is saying, and it says that they're coming back, that you have to look at the soil blocks, because that's where the money is. If you really want money in your pocket, that you should be paying attention what you would have lost, or what is in the backyard, what is out there for you to collect, and you're not collecting it, but you're killing the government with a kitty jar that has little money while the bank is standing next door there. So that is what is coming up with regards to the front page here. Okay, prosecution closed the case in Gary Best dangerous driving trial, and you could recall that Gary Best was a former Army commander, Army chief, and hit a cyclist, well-known cyclist, down on the east coast of Demerara there. They believe that at that point in time he was drinking, or he was out very late, going home at very early in the morning. But the cyclist was riding, hit him down. Now he's before the courts, and he was a senior official within the coalition that just lost power. And so his case is about to be wrapped up. It would be interesting to see whether former army chief would be convicted in a traffic case in which somebody died. So we are going to continue from a Kaieteur News perspective to bring you the news with regards to that story. Interesting story there. You read about stories like this in overseas newspaper, online, and so on. But here it is, a former army chief. Normally back in its time, this is a no-no. Cops caught on camera trying to drive away from hitting on pedal cyclists. And this is the madness. When somebody was videoing the cops, they start behaving at a rate. So, there's two sides of things happening. The police authorities, and this is a topic that I want to discuss today. When you have the cops who are supposed to be placating, to be keeping the peace, when they're adding fuel to the fire, when they're harassing people. People are on the edge. Pandemic is on their case. People have lost their job, and so when they see police coming around, harassing them and so on, at least that's what the story is saying, they're going to react. And in this particular case, the police are standing wrong. When you see police cussing people when they're videoing them, the people have a right to video you. If you're out there and I see you doing something wrong, I will video you. That's my right until the court says otherwise. But people are doing it now, and you should be aware that whenever you're out there, that you should always pay attention. This story here would juxtapose with another one in which a video surfaced today that's almost as disturbing as that bridge incident a couple of days back, in which a soldier who was accused of committing some traffic offenses on the Demerara Harbour Bridge would have come out his car, exited his car, came out, and he abused, literally, physically abused that police officer, that police rank, lifted him off the ground and throwing him on the ground, and then the GDF officer was subsequently arrested, facing charges. But there seems to be increasing violence against the police. While I know that the police have been not making a case that is very strong for themselves, it is the fact that the police are they are on the side of the law and order, and they represent law and order for this country. When you start attacking the foundations of what's supposed to be the law and order, we're not in a very good place. I'm not too happy with the situation that is evolving here right now. So the cops caught on camera trying to drive away after hitting down pedal cyclists. UNDP offers to help Guyana with electoral reform. I'm interested in this. If UNDP and the United Nations Development Program, we should welcome it, because we know what happened over the last couple of months with the elections. It isn't that we don't have we don't have a very strong case or strong laws. It is that people have used or abused or try to force it upon the Guyanese people that these loopholes exist. But really, we should be tightening them too. You don't want to have a response that is happening that is not good within a couple of years. So, man jailed 60 years for GPHC dispatcher's murder. There's a pardon of a woman that was working at the Georgetown Public Hospital, and he would have killed her, stabbed her, and threw her out of the car, and then he later admitted to it. GNBS issues a new requirement in wake of tire ban reversal. You recall that the coalition government would have stopped the used tire from entering the country. You had to buy new tires, and the new government, on the People's Progressive Party Civic, and Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali would have reintroduced the used tires back into the country. But GNBS, which is again National Bureau of Standards, made it very clear that before you bring it into the country, these used tires, that we have to check it, and it has to meet certain requirements, certain standards, has a certain meat in it, if you know. And for those who own cars and knows about tires, you understand what I'm talking about, meat. It cannot be a ball tire that has been used for a long time, and then you bring it here. It has to meet those requirements. So Gaisuko flood success lands to flush out squatters. And this is a situation that is highly divisive, and we are going to continue to pay attention to what is happening. In the meantime, there's a video that surfaced this morning in which showing that two cops, motorcycle cops, would have gone to a place in Georgetown, it looks like. I think I recognize one of the person as being a staff of Kaieteur News, a lady that it seems that her son was being troubled, allegedly troubled by the police ranks. And it seems as if some slaps, or at least one slap or one punch was thrown by the individual, but the police were seen with guns in their hands. So you're seeing an increasing number of cases of police actions against the police, and then police. Do we need more training for the police? Do we need more awareness to be brought to the citizens that if you attack the police, that maybe some things could happen? So we are going to be bringing you those details in a very short while. I'm going to tell Raj to stand by, because we are going to be bringing a doctor in the house in a very short while, and she's going to tell us the importance of the World's Anesthesia Day. And that is important because at the end of the day, you don't want people to be believing that these days, when we start paying attention to our nurses and doctors and these specific areas that we should be handling, we have to educate ourselves. So Raj, when you're ready, you're going to tell me a little bit that. But it is so Nigel Hines has resigned. It is the House and Matters. We are going to be asking Raj in a very short while. Could I have those the phone? Good. So it is Friday, so we're going to be talking a little about what is happening. We have made some people very, very happy today. I know that one person is going to be receiving. I think there is. Think about 3 persons five persons rather, who's going to be receiving wheelchairs. And I did give out those numbers that was asked. One person on the executive course from Mariah's Lodge would have asked us for some help. We did promise. We did get Minister of Human Resources, Dr. Vindya Prasad, came out and she says, yes, I'm going to sort for thing. And she has five available. Give one to Maria's Lodge. Somebody, I think, from Enmore would have gotten one. And I think three other persons are going to benefit as well. So thank you very much, dear folks. And then there was a young lady that was smiling this morning, is in fourth form, and is wants to be an engineer. And I saw the future of Guyana, and I saw my little daughter in her eyes as well, and she was badly in need of something, and she got all of it. And so when you see that and you know you want to help, that is where you come in as citizens of this beautiful country of ours. Do not wait on the government to do everything. Let us see in our little way. I did say that charity begins at home, so start within your neighborhood. Do not throw garbage. Start helping out your neighbor. If you have something and they don't have, in terms of a little food, what is going to kill you if you give them a plate of food or something, because you don't know. You don't want them to go searching for food somewhere, and then you know that you could have done something that would have been could have been helpful in making this country a safer place, and that somebody is not in need. And you don't want kids running around very hungry. We could recall the older folks what it's like in the old days to do without, what it's like to reuse a bottle bowl. I think you guys know about that, right? You know what is it to reuse a paint can to fetch water. So all those things we have to pay attention to, and don't forget where we came from, because there are many people in this country who would have left this country, gone abroad to Brazil, to Venezuela, and now they're back in this country. They would not, in their wildest dreams, believe that the good life that they would have had in Venezuela and so on would have been torn apart because of the economic situations there. And they came back here with literally no house, nothing, searching for jobs. Many of them are wrong the place. This morning I started writing my column for Kaieteur News. I have a weekly Sunday issue that comes out, or a column in the Kaieteur. Thank God for Mr. Lal. He says that you should try writing something, and I did. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and it's been helpful. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now as a columnist. So I was writing, and then I recall seeing this little Venezuelan guy, Guyanese born, but grew up in Venezuela, speaks fluent Spanish, and he was a hell of a mechanic, and he was very professional in the way he does things, and we realized that we have many of them here. The president would have come out a few days back and made it very clear that they're going to put together an advisory committee which is going to advise on ways that we could help our Guyanese who have returned from Venezuela. These are little things that I like to see. These are good news that I like to see from our government. I'm not too happy, though, about the long lines in front of the stadium there. So in a very short while, we are going to be joined by the good doctor, Dr. Harvey, and I'm going to tell you a little about her when she joins us. But we're going to be talking about the importance of oral anesthesia day, and she is going to be telling us, teaching us. I don't know much about it, but I've been asked as a stakeholder, especially with pandemic upon us, why is this important? And so in the meantime, immediately after that, we are going to be opening the lines. You could send your text messages to 6222222 as normal. Do not call us on that line, 6222222, either on WhatsApp or on SMS. And the number for you to call when we tell you to, we're going to open the line is 226-7453, 226-7453. And so those lines are going to be open in a very short while after we finish with the good doctor. So in the meantime, we have some very good people on our live stream here on Facebook, like Pam Singh, for example. Pam has always been around. Sati Ramjas, how you doing? Gomati Singh, Karen Smith, Tara Jagdeo. And we have also Zach Martin, Omar Dionarain, as always, he's been around. Savvy Not, as always. So I want to say good day to you folks. I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. The numbers have been climbing here with the people across this good nation of ours. And here what we're going to do today, as we've been always doing, we want to make a couple of people very happy. So today, and Sheikh Abraham is saying a good day to Mr. Leonard, a good day, Mr. Sheikh Abraham. Today, in a little while, after let's say about 2:30, I want you guys to. This is for the people on the coastline. They cannot give. We cannot give a couple. We have at least three tablets that we want to give, and so we're going to give it to the people on the coastline. It doesn't make sense for us to do it in the hinterlands for the students there because they don't have internet. So we're going to have to find, do not take it, it would have to go to the families who probably don't have any devices and have access to internet. We're going to have to do that. And you're going to have to make a case to us. We have a couple of people in the studio, including Raj. Raj is very eagle eye, and talking about eagle eye, we know what eagle eye is. But he's paying very close attention, making sure that nobody fools us. So you have that number there, 6222222. We want you to send us those messages to those numbers as to why you believe that you deserve a tablet, or why you believe your son or daughter deserve a tablet. If there are several children within the family, and we have ways of finding out too, if you're lying to us or not. We know that we have very honest people in our chat room here, and we have very honest people on the Kaieteur radio, because it's a wake up Guyana show, and we don't want people to be lying to us, and we know that everybody's in need. We want to help the most vulnerable of people out there. So CARICOM General Insurance, it's time for that. It's time, the insurance time. CARICOM General Insurance Inc. And it's a better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Street. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. We have the lady in the house. Yes, right about now we are going to be joined by a good doctor. I love doctors. You know why I love doctors? They've been the ones, especially during this pandemic time, who has been with us throughout the last couple of months. And it's not been an easy time for doctors and nurses and the cleaners and the ambulance drivers and everybody, even from the Ministry of Health, because you had to be ordering, we were short of gongs, we were short of masks, we were short of sanitizing liquid and so on. And so when you have those kind of situations that's happening, you start to having a different kind of appreciation for people. And joining us right now, we have Dr. Alexander Harvey, and she's a MD, DM, anesthetic. I think she's going to pronounce it a little better. She came from UE. She's the Director of Medical Education, former department head at GPHC. She's an Associate Professor, Anesthesia and Intensive Care, and she's also we've done a stint there with the McMaster's University. So I want to say welcome to Dr. Alexander Harvey. And today is the World Anesthesia Day. I'm going to ask Dr. Harvey right away to jump into it. Maybe tell us a little about yourself. But my question to you, Doc, is why is this day important?
Many thanks for having me here on this occasion of World Anesthesia Day. Just to say that apart from those things that you mentioned, I'm actually here as a member of the executive of the Guyana Anesthesiology Society, and as past president of the Guyana Anesthesiology Society, or GAS as we call it. So today, the 16th of October, it is indeed World Anesthesia Day 2020. Many of our listeners, if we've been doing our work as anesthesiologists, they would maybe already know that this day had been set aside since actually the early 1900s in order to commemorate and celebrate the first successful use of what we call a general anesthetic for surgery. And the anesthetic used was a gas called ether, and the occasion, it happened in 1846. In Boston, in the United States, at the Massachusetts General Hospital. And it was then that it was for the first time that it was officially recognized that surgery could actually take place without the patient feeling pain. Mm-hmm. So this was a really big thing, and it still is a big thing. Really, the fact that you could come and get cuts, incisions, parts of you removed and not feeling any pain. Before that, basically, I mean, I guess people were gritting their teeth and maybe they actually used to use some alcohol, all things trying to numb this sensation of pain. But the fact that now you could definitely give something, this anesthetic gas, it was really a landmark occasion. So each year here in Guyana, the members of the Guyana Anesthesiologists Society, we join the World Federation of Society of Anesthetists to really celebrate this fact.
Mm. I'm very glad, but I understand that the little that I know about this is that if you put too much, you could kill somebody. They would never wake up.
Well, as with anything that any skill you have, you need to know how to use it. And this is what actually we do here through GAS, is that we train. Part of our mission is to train and educate the persons in order to deliver safe anesthetic care and to increase access to this safe care.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that. We have training programs, and some of our persons who've come through are actually giving this type of anesthetic care throughout Guyana now, and we are continuing doing so, doing this training. And as I say, you have to have that training and knowledge. So that's one of the things that we do. And that's following the same mission that the World Federation of Society of Anesthesiologists has, which is to really improve patient care and their access to safe anesthesia all around the world. So we are doing that. That's part of our mission here in Guyana, to improve access to safe anesthesia and improve the safety of this anesthesia that we are giving.
Well, absolutely. Well, I had my little taste of anesthesia back in the 90s when I was writing. I think it was CXC. I came down, I had a little pain, and when they checked it, it was the appendix. I had to do I think it's the appendicitis operation, I think it is, you call it. And so I ended up, and so I think I was a little scared, but they said no, they put a mask over and that was it. But when I awoke, there was a cut. There was the operations was already completed. So I had my thing with it, but I always wondered, for the persons who don't know, Doc, is this a specialist training that persons would have to go, or is it standard for any doctor to know, or is it a special set of people that would have to be trained in this area here?
The area of anesthesiology is a very specialist area of training in medicine. Usually people, they would train as doctors and then they decide that they will go further to become an anesthesiologist, and it requires usually 3 or 4 years at minimum to get the full training. And that's why I can say that as the true GAS, we have many of our members are really the leading experts in anesthesia in the country.
And we
but
would
certainly,
have,
yeah.
So we have some good experts here.
Well, we're actually behind on a number that we really wish to have, and world over. The World Anesthesia Day, the same WFSA, the World Federation of Society of Anesthesiologists, they have looked at the anesthetic needs for countries, and their aim is that we have at least 5 these specialist anesthetists for every 100,000 population. When we started, actually, we were like about 1 for 100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're increasing. That's why we want to be doing more training and so on. But we are not yet there. Because even in Guyana, we're looking at, if it's 5 for 100,000, maybe about 40 and
Uh-huh.
we're nowhere near there. So, but we think we can get there by continuing our training.
Very good. And we have a doctor online here too. Dr. Nichelle is saying, "How you doing?" And she's overseas now, but she's saying, what a wonderful time to see a face, Dr. Harvey, such a wonderful person." Doc, and this is being on a little funny side. I'm not good at making jokes, but I would see pictures, photos, movies in the old days in which the Western movies maybe, and there's a bullet in the leg, and they put in something around the mouth to bite it so they don't bite the tongue, and then they take a shot of the alcohol or take a swig, as they would say. What's the alternative to anesthesia?
The alternative, well, you've mentioned one, all right?
I know
The
I deliberately
alcohol and
did.
the gritting of the teeth, yeah, and and just bearing the pain, all right. And we like to think that really there's not an alternative to not having pain, although we have found different ways of being able to eliminate this pain.
Hmm.
We mentioned that, well, since the first anesthetic, the person was put off to sleep using ether and so on. And people know we put them off to sleep, meaning we make you unconscious. And we still do that using more developed agents, more developed gases. But that's not the only way we can numb your pain. No, we can actually just numb a certain part of your body, a certain region of your body, just where you're going to get the surgery. So we call that regional anesthesia, or sometimes people will have it maybe an injection in their back to just make their lower limbs numb, just below their waist numb, where that's where the surgeon is going to be operating. Because some people may not like to actually be put off fully to sleep, and
Hmm.
sometimes we also have to know what is best for them. Yeah, if it is best that they actually do go off to sleep or just the part. And we have equipment, we're using more equipment, we're using ultrasound, so we can actually just target exactly where we have to numb. Yeah.
So I didn't know that the
So,
patient has a say. What you're saying there, does the patient have a say whether you put them to sleep or not?
okay, the patient always has a say, right, in what we're doing to them because it's their body. Yeah. But what we try and do, and it is through these talks like how we are having now, to try and increase public awareness. Yeah, a
Hmm.
patient always has rights. They always have a say. And what we would like, however, is that we can have a conversation so we are able to discuss what we feel is best, and then what would be together with what the patient may want, what their desire is. There are patients who maybe they don't want to be stuck with a needle. It's really, this is their big fear. Well, we have things that we could do, all right? So maybe that doesn't have to happen, or they wouldn't know it is happening. And this is usually the issue, I just don't want to know. So it's a big part of of what we do is talking to the patient beforehand, examining the patient before they get their surgery, and really trying to come up with what's the best anesthetic for this specific patient.
Hmm.
All right. And that is a big part of what we do, and we ask that patients, they are patients with us in the sense that sometimes we go and we're asking, and they may say, well, check my chart. It's in my chart. See the question, do you know the answer? Or somebody, maybe the surgeon asked me something like that before. But we need to know because we have to put all these facts together to come up with what's best for you.
Hmm.
So this is one of the things that we do.
Interesting. Well, let me tell you, I'm asking you these questions. I'm flying. I'm flying solo here without having any idea what you're talking about, but I'm learning a lot. Karen Smith is asking here, what is your challenge when caring for patients with pre-existing conditions having surgery? And she went on one other question. What are your concerns doing your job during this pandemic situation?
So the first question, I think, was the challenge if somebody has a pre-existing condition. And this, in truth, it increases the possible risk of the patients getting their surgery. That is the risk of not so desirable outcome.
Uh-huh.
So and it's why we spend so much time really going through to determine what the risks are, what the problems could possibly be, and find ways in which we could ameliorate them, all right, or eliminate them. If we didn't know that the problem was there, we may just go ahead with a straightforward, what we would normally do. But once you know, and knowledge to me is the key, knowledge and knowing what is the issue, yeah, with this patient, what could possibly be the issues with this patient, and then the more we know as anesthetist, and that comes through your training and your practice and your experience, we will take that knowledge and now come up with what's best for this patient. Sometimes we have to tell you, for us to do this surgery, maybe it's not a good time to have it now. If you do so and so, well, and come back a bit later, it'll be better for you. And other times you say, okay, maybe you can't get it. You get it now, but we need to do 1, 2, 3 things in order to get you in your optimum condition. And we're gonna do every time it is more complex case with pre-existing conditions. There are various steps that we can take, but they are then more complex steps but we are able to take them.
And the second part of the question, or the second question, which Karen is asking, which is I'm interested in that too. The pandemic has thrown up a lot of challenges during this time, not only in Guyana, across the world. What are some of the problems that we would have seen, and as far as anesthesia is concerned in Guyana?
Well, it's been major change, major challenges for us as anesthesiologists, because, I mean, we hear this word frontline, but we are really here in the front line, up close and personal with these patients, because part of what we do is looking after their patients, well, all their body systems, but especially the respiratory or breathing system. We are often opening people's mouths. And we have to look inside in order to help with their breathing. This is while they are asleep. And we have to do a lot of, maybe put in equipment to help them to breathe. And we know that COVID is transmitted by really the people breathing, inhaling the COVID virus. So we are right up there. And it's from the beginning, we realized this is going to, we're at high risk, because it's either we don't do our job, we just stop working, or, well, we do it, and, well, we have to realize this is high risk. So obviously we couldn't stop doing our job. So we have had to take a lot of precautions, and this is daily. This is every time you're going and you're doing a case, because we know that patients they don't always have symptoms. Right? So it's not that they're coming and telling us they don't know, right? So we have to keep on taking precautions. And we have to remind each other to take the precautions properly. It's like wearing the mask. We try and encourage each other. Look, if you see me it's not on properly, well, you tell me. Or if I see you, we have buddy like that. Don't just leave it like that, because we have to protect ourselves so that we can continue doing our work. So this is an ongoing challenge for us, with even making sure that we have the appropriate protective equipment. Yeah, and each and every case. This is not like, this case and not the other case. It's every single time. Well, and especially when we're actually working in that co-intensive care unit.
Well, somebody's asking a very good question here. I think again, Pam Singh is asking here. What happens? Do we have to have every patient tested before surgery? And I'm talking COVID-19 testing here, because it would show if there's a clear indication as to what kind of treatment or what kind of measures you're going to be taking. I would love to have you answer that.
That's if we have to test everyone?
Yes, that's taking surgery.
Well, different in different countries they have different protocols and so on and policies for people coming for surgery. For us in at least at GPHC in Guyana, we're not testing every single person, but we interview everybody and then we have our suspicions and decide, if they actually need to be tested. But I think the bottom line is that test or no test, we have to be protected because we know that even the test, it can be negative, but the patient could actually they actually could have the virus. So on that basis, we as anesthesiologists have decided, look, we are going to take the appropriate precautions for every single patient.
Well, I want to say, Doc, what you've given us there is some very good information there. And of course, as always, we like to invite back our guests because this is a part of the education process of making our people aware of what is happening in the country. And especially when they open their mouth, they should be speaking from an informed perspective there. So I give you your closing comments and of course, I'd want to invite you back to the radio sometime or the other to tell us about what is happening in this field here. So thank you very much. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. So I would just like our listeners to remember that your anesthesiologist is here to help you. And we're there to help you before your surgery. So we have your interview during your surgery and after. We also are involved in resuscitation, CPR, in the ICU, as you talked, and in managing chronic pain. And today, especially, it's with World Anesthesia Day, the theme is occupational well-being of anesthesiologists. And that's come up because of all the things that we are doing. We sometimes neglect to look after ourselves. And if
Right.
we don't look after ourselves, we can't look after you as the patient. So we just like to urge you to support us, which would help us in actually improving our well-being. And on behalf of GAS, the Guyana Anesthesiologist Society, and actually on my own behalf, I would just like to wish everybody a happy World Anesthesia Day.
So thank you very much there, Dr. Alexandra Harvey. And what she's been telling us there on the occasion of the World Anesthesia Day today, Friday, October the 16th. And you know what had me going there? That you guys actually came up with an acronym, GAS. Which is its thing. So I like that. I kind of like that. So Dr. Harvey, it's been a pleasure talking to you. You're an easy person to talk to and an easy person to listen to also. So have a pleasant rest of the day, and I hope that we could bring you back sometime or the other, okay? And all the best to our hardworking people involved in this field.
Okay, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So in the meantime, that was very informative. You learned something there, a very specialist field. And so when you would be talking, and you know that we're short, we need to have more persons in this field here. We're talking about anesthesia, the specialists there, and we need to continuously train our people so we would not be complaining about shortages of medical workers in these areas. Every area is a specialist area. This is me talking from a layman's point of view there. So it is 1:47, and so what are we going to do? Because it's your show, it's not about Gildarie, it's not about Raj, it's not about Kaieteur Radio, it's about you, the people of Guyana. It's a Wake Up Guyana show here, and we're coming to you live from the 24 Saffron Street, Georgetown, 99.1 if you're in Esquivel or Demerara, you could catch us on that. If you're in Berbice, it's 99.5. I want to say a good day to all the persons who are joining us today, wherever you are, whether you're in your vehicle, at home, in your hammock, in the kitchen garden, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're teaching. I want to say good day to you. So be safe, make sure that you protect yourself. And so in a very short while, let us see what is happening. We want to hear from our people. Yes. Hi, Len, the Breeden Hoop area where the minibus is loading. If you see the garbage there, the area has two houses burned down, and the sellers them throwing garbage on two sides of the road. It's really looking bad. I happen to know this area here. This is where I think some people died. This is just at the Breeden Hoop Junction. You people are a bunch of nasty people. You need to get a clean up. Don't do that. Do not throw garbage around the place. It's your country. Somebody has to clean it. Get yourself clean. How you keep in the roadways, how you keep in the bedroom, and how you keep in your bathroom. When people see that you're surrounding, well, They're going to say very clearly that's how you keep in your home, that's how you keep your kitchen. So you got to start keeping. You got to protect this country, man. I don't like to hear things like this. So let's see. Hi, good afternoon. My children really need. Okay, good. So we got people starting to send us those messages. It's 143. Okay, good. We got that one there. Hi, Leonard. As a good doctor, was silicosis and what causes disease? Not sure. My apologies. I now see this. Um, let me see some other one. The $10,000 bail for the assault against the policeman is unbelievable and shameful. Respect our police. I understand and I back you up with this. We can't do this to our policemen. I know that we would run mad with them. We would go very crazy. We flip out on them from time to time. That is because they do a lot of nonsense. But the minute that you start attacking media workers who are doing their work, you attack the police officers who are doing their work or the police ranks. It is you attacking the society. There are many ways that you could go about, but beating them, attacking them, because remember these guys got guns in their hands. They have a right to protect themselves. This morning, what I saw, a policeman with gun in his hand, and he showed incredible restraint. I'm not saying that in every case that they should be shooting. What I'm saying that if you're under attack and you have a gun in your hand, the knee-jerk situation is that you would want to protect yourself. So that's very good. It's in Georgetown. I would want to have more ideas what triggered this gentleman to take a swipe. It looked like a slap the police officer, and that police rank two bicycle police. The video ended there, so I have absolutely no idea what happened. But let me see. Good afternoon. I just want to bring something to your attention. Maybe you can announce. I've noticed that the Chinese supermarket and the East Coast customer going in and out without mask and always crowded. I think the ministry need to look into it because most business downtown you can't go in without the mask. Why does supermarket have to do the same? You have to send us the name of the supermarket because I go into supermarkets on the East Bank there in the Diamond area there and they spray your hands and you have to wear a mask. So this may be an exception to the rule. You guys need to give us names so we could name them. Hi, good afternoon from Burmese. I have a little concern about the raise about the Fort Wellington Hospital. When patients go there, they don't have proper doctor and the nurses are so rude. Patients have to wait on them till they finish on their phone calls. So I'm asking if the health minister can look into it. And they also have a lot of tablets to treat. They don't have a lot of tablets to treat patients. Please help me, Barbishan. I'm watching this program every day. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Fort Wellington and the West Berbice Demerara area. What's happening there? Dr. Vishwa Mahadio. I'm going to be talking to Dr. Vishwa Mahadio in a very short while. I think he's the Inspector General. I think there is. And so he's a very serious man. I had a conversation with him yesterday. And he seems very enthusiastic about this new position that's created. And I can assure you that whenever we bring these things here, that he is going to, in fact, we are going to bring him on the show here. I'm going to have to bring him and we're going to chat with him so he can be able to tell us what is happening, what do we expect in terms of the quality of services there. At the GPHC, I think there's an inspections or an inspectorate department there that look to see what kind of service or to gauge the kind of services that are being delivered. So when you have across the ministry now that an entire a person has been appointed specifically for that, and Dr. Vishwa Mahadio would have been part of the Borby situation there over the years as the regional health officials there, and so he's now at the Ministry of Health. So I'm going to have to ask him to come on board to talk to us here about the quality of services at our health institutions and how do we bring it up and how do we complain. So if you have a complaint about the attitude of staffers or so, where could you do that? So let us see. We are opening the doors now for people to complain, and so let's see what happens there. Good afternoon, Leonard. I would really like if you could help me out since last crop. We sell paddy to Wazir Hussein, rice miller. Until now, no payments, and right now he paying cash on the spot and not saying when he will pay. He owned 2 mills at Hampton Court and Dry Shore, Esquivel Coast. What is happening here, Mr. Wazir Hussein? The people complaining there. If this person is asking my opinion, the Guyana Rice Development Board, GRDB, is the one that you should complain to because there is a regulation or there are regulations in place which state that the millers have certain number of days to pay you. And if they don't pay you, they have to pay you interest. And after that, you could even lose your license, your milling license, if you keep on owing people. So please raise this issue here with Mr. Nazim. I think is Mr. Nazim. I can't remember his last name. He's a general manager here at the Guyana Rice Development Board. They're the regulators of the rice industry, and this man could lose his license if this is indeed the case. Wazir Hussein, rice miller on the Esquimalt coast, and they're saying that he has operations at Hampton Court and the Dry Shore Esquimalt. So you guys got to pay attention there. We don't want to be hearing complaints about that. So thank you. Let me see. We will be heading to the lines in a very short while and give you all the time on that. Enjoy. Last week I had surgery. I had to take the COVID test before. This is a patient at the hospital, and the person said before they had the surgery, they had to take the COVID test. So that answers some of the questions. Some of the hospitals, depends where hospital is that. So, okay. So this is a person. Let me see. Okay, thank you very much for that. So, you guys, Rats, do we have a caller online? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. 226-7453. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, too.
How are you doing, buddy? Go right ahead.
I am okay. It is sometimes sad. I don't ever like to see the police being assaulted by people, but I always deal with the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that we have not hired people in the police force that are professional and quote-unquote educated, even if you didn't went far in school, some people got street sense. And so they only have one way, brute force and ignorance. And in this time, everybody's on edge. And when you go in a particular way, I'm not saying the people are right. I believe it's comply and then complain. But our police have for years been operating in a mediocre way. The problem with this country is that a lot of things we have been opening up, and we're catching up with the rest of the world technologically wise. But in terms of our attitude, we are not there. Nurses, south nurses, people at the government ministries, and they operate like they're doing you a favor, not realizing the name of their job is that they're public servants.
That's correct. Very correct.
And somehow, it's not like so much of who win the government problem. This is a people problem. All people have a problem, and it's not that they don't know better, because the same people that litter the street, the minute they touch JFK, they don't throw away a sweetie paper. So it is nothing to do with they don't know, it's that they don't care. They don't value their own home here, and they don't value the job that they're doing. If you don't value it, leave it. Let somebody else do the job.
I hear you, brother.
And as we look at what's happening in the country in many other areas, it comes back to the same principle that we are not doing the best that we should do. From the NDC, the RDC, we miss the point of being professional in what we're doing. And as we have said yesterday, what worked in the 1980s doesn't work now. It has to be better. People to village radio, people living, you got to go and cut the streets, read the roads more often. And we are not doing that. Everybody is still operating, and that guy said it rightly yesterday. And I found it, I put it this way. Indians and Afro-Guyanese in power in Guyana get drunk in power. They do not do their job. They talk to people anyhow. Not me. I am not a person that anybody talks to. But they do it, and they demean people like that. But these NDC, RDC, heads. I know with the tree because I'm from over there. I was once an overseer, and I had to pull them up a lot of times. Sometimes the chairman, they're living here, and they send for the thing with dig the trench. They come right up to them and stop, and it's gone back. If I find out, the thing got to keep going. The point I'm making, they do this thing like if it's their job. They believe these front-end loaders are there, and these things they clean the trench are doing. And someday we got to get the message right, because this is not the time for us to be doing this. We got in aisle. We are being exposed to the world. And at that thing that you're talking about, I'm very, very upset about it. We missed a lot of people highlighting. How we don't know who get these country blocks. How did they get it? And from what I'm hearing, 3 of the people that get those blocks are from both of the major parties in this country. And it's sad to see that they come out and fight each other publicly, and behind closed doors, they're cahootsing to rob this nation. I'll listen to the comments after. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So it's very clear from what that caller is saying there. You know, we forgetting what services, but to come back right back to the oil blocks here. It's Ramon Gaskin, an activist, and there's been increasing number of calls for us to look at this, because if we could get it right, here's an opportunity for a country like ours, very early in the game, very early in the oil and gas game, that you could be able to get it right. And why would you not want to get it right? Because if we could look at here, we could look at big countries. We could look at Russia. We could look at Singapore and Malaysia, very successful countries. When you see what they would have, clean roads, clean waterways, big high rises, medical facilities that's there. You see places like Dubai and so on, and some Middle East countries. You don't have to lift a finger, but every year you get a check that comes to you. You're entitled to that as a citizen within the country. So when you look at that and see the systems that they put into place to protect the wealth, to protect taxes that they're receiving, to bring corruption down to an end. And when you read stories, it looks as if it's very far away. Things are not so far away because we just a phone call away now. We just a video call away. So the world has become much smaller because of technology now. We could be here and talk to somebody in China. I spoke to somebody that's in Miami last night, and he was talking to somebody in China at the same time. So it's a three-way conversation, and things have become so close. And it's while in Miami, it might have been around 8 o'clock in the evening there. In China, it would be in the morning, very early in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning there. So these are things that we have to start paying attention to. What is happening around the world? What are we doing about it? We have a chance to fix the situation. As always, that person there is right on the ball. And so we are talking about the CARICOM General Insurance Company here now. A better value for better protection. Get your ship and cargo covered with us today. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. at 121 Regent and Arnock Streets. To better serve you, you can now purchase your insurance online from the comfort of your home. Telephone 225-1787 or 269-0020. CARICOM General Insurance Company, Inc. So in the meantime, we are going to go back and read a couple of messages and then hit the lines again, because there are a couple of people who are raising issues here. Let me see what they're saying. There's a supermarket in Krongnam. They don't use face masks to go inside. There's a supermarket. Krongnam, this is industry. Industry is a Chinese supermarket. You guys need to get yourself in order. You need to protect yourselves. Start naming and shaming these people. Good afternoon, sir. Atlantic Wireless on the Escobar Coast has been providing very poor internet services for the past couple of months here. The technicians say they can't do anything, and they're charging us full price for a service we haven't signed up for. We're asking if you could get attention of the relevant authority to look into this matter. I happen to know Michael Bess, who happens to be the owner, so I'm going to try to get Mr. Michael Bess. But the authorities, the regulators, the PUC, I don't think this company falls under the PUC, but they are providing a service to the people of Guyana. Let me make some phone call and find out what's happening with Atlantic Wireless Network, because internet is very close to the people's heart, especially with the pandemic. And I'm going to get back to you guys on that. Good afternoon. At the back of Success, the squatters, they stick up 2 security guards with cutlass and took away 2 shotgun with the robber shop at Success lined up. The robber guy of his weed machine and a bicycle, a few dollars and a cell phone. The thief a motorcycle and a bicycle, and a young girl, she was coming home from work. The robber cell phone and her money that she got paid on Saturday. The opens a drug yard over the line where the squatters are. A guy and a girl are knocking on all the PPP flags on Success School Road. Not sure about this, but you guys need to start asking the police to go around, to move around the place, because this is what I'm saying. There is a lot of feelings about these people who have been flooded out and have to remove. But when you pick up yourself and decide to go squat on the land or squat on somewhere, that's not how this country is being done. You can't go into America, you can't go into no other place and do that. On the flip side of it, no other country is going to take so long to deliver. We've really been dropping the ball. CHMP need to get its act together. They can't just give lands to the people and they move into it and the streets are not developed. So it's a catch situation there that we have to be paying attention to, and we have to continuously improve ourselves there. The people have demands. They have a legitimate demand that they should have lands to build a house. We have enough lands in this place. I think we've been dragging our our foot waiting until we have the facilities, the money in place, so we could be able to look at it. But at the same time, you cannot break the law. So it is a situation we have to look at both sides. The people are very concerned, but do we have our authorities who are working as hard or as fast as they can? What you see happen in the 300 titles being distributed at Providence, and everybody else turned up there to find out about house lots. And so you don't need to turn up at the Providence to find out about house lots. You could probably find out about the various ways you could build a house. But there is an open day every week, I think it is, at the Ministry of Housing and Water. This is at the Central Housing Planning building there along Brick Dam Road there. That you could go every week there and you could query things. Today is for the people who are collecting those things. And if you want to see what are some of the alternatives, whether you build a brick house, a wood house, what are some of the methods or some of the options that you have of getting a mortgage, at what percentage? Those are the kind of things that we need to look at and start getting ourselves educated. I wrote some columns back starting 2010 or so thereabouts, and I wrote about 100 articles over a period of time. And I learned so much about housing because I wanted to educate myself. So this whole process here is an education process. So let's get back to it. Raj, do we have another call? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're there. We would have missed that caller there. 226-7453. Or you could call, you could WhatsApp us or SMS us on 622-222. Let me see what they have here. Good day, keep up the good work. Some teachers in grade 4 at Graham's Hall have Zoom classes and do not post the work in the WhatsApp group. My issue is that not all parents could afford to do Zoom. I really look forward to getting the work for the kids. What's so hard to post the work done on Zoom in the WhatsApp group so the parents, so the kids can keep up? Yeah, this is a big issue because I learned too that some of the teachers don't even have money to keep up with the class. Some of them are living in an area where there's no internet. I think they would have to make arrangements to go to some schools and see how they could do those classes. But it's a big challenge is doing those school online. My little son who's doing it, I pay very close attention because I want to see how the system works. I've been watching what he's been doing, some of the things that he's been doing because I know the challenges. He would be very upset if I tell you that the other day he's lying in bed there with the phone next to him listening to the class. And that's not a situation that I want. We had bought a desk for him. He has a chair. He's supposed to be seated there. You should be in a classroom. There's discipline that comes along with that. But how many more? So these are one of the many challenges that you find happening with the classes. Some of the teachers are maybe going a little too fast too. They want to finish off maybe the amount of work that they would have allotted for those particular day. So it's really a situation. I'm not sure how we have an answer. One of the big things that have really been holding it back is the absence of internet for many students. We have one student here this morning. She's in fourth form, and she's getting from her neighbor or family or somebody that she's going to get it from. And it is a touch and go situation. Many kids are going to miss out in a very short while. In a couple of days, the big schools they've already started the registration. The orientation is going to be done in a couple of days. So online classes are going to be started for these kids. What happened to those kids who have not had any classes? So this is a challenge that we have to continuously face. I think students might very well have to go somewhere in absence of you not even having a tablet or a computer so you could go online. What happens then? So these are all issues. I think it's 180 something thousand students, 180 something thousand students that the ministry would find it nearly impossible to find those tablets or laptops to give right away for these students here, and this is right across the country. Even if you give them, what happens to those students in the hinterlands because they don't have access to stable internet in which they could be able to do their work? So it is a very bleak situation. It's a very dismal situation. The ministry is battling because what do? Do you keep the school closed? Do you have them go to school there and then take a chance and then they have to travel in minibus? They have to travel in public transportation, and then the children are up all on each other. It is not a good situation. Do we have another call there? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Kaieteur?
Yes, it is. You want to Kaieteur Radio? Go right ahead.
Yeah, you did tell me call back the day, 10 past 3 me call, but somebody went on the line, man, and by the time me get through, they're gone.
All right, but I told him to let him give you my number with regards to what you're calling with, and we could talk about it.
Thanks.
Good. Bye bye. Thank you very much, sir. Let me see what else is happening here. 117. Good afternoon. I always listen to Kaieteur Radio. I've been listening to Kaieteur Radio since the elections. Watch time. I don't change from this radio station. And this is Alicia Wilson from Bartica. Good day to you, Alicia. Wherever, if you're in Bartica at the moment, I want to say good day to the people in Bartica. You know how much we love you guys there. It's a beautiful place. You have a beautiful waterfront there, and the regatta, something to talk about there. When we open back, I think everybody should take a trek sometime there. That waterfront property there that is in Bartica, that's on the Essequibo River there. When you see the boats and everything, and the races that is happening, and the atmosphere, it's really beautiful. So we have a beautiful country here. Good day to you, Alicia. Good afternoon, Leonard. Today, GPL sent their representatives in my road, which is Chansan Road, to check out how many homes are there. Remember, only Tuesday last year when my message mentioned a problem of not having electricity. So I want to thank you for airing our concern and seeing the hardest. Thanks again, bro. I'm Lalbachan Sisanka resident. I'm very happy for this. This is a Chansan Road in, I think, on the Suzdijk-Linden Highway there. Well, if the radio is reaching out to the authorities and they're listening to us, I want to say good day to the folks down at GPL. I know that there's some new management, and there's a minister who seems to be singing the right songs, and he is, whenever I send him messages, he says, Gildarie is going to call me back, and he says, Gildarie, I'm looking into this matter here. I saw your message, and I'm going to look into it. So he's very serious about that, and I want to say thank you very much there, Minister Deodat Indar. He is serious about what he does, and he knows that I would torment him until he gets his work done there, and they are doing their work. Good day. I want to know when the GCOM start work. I need my ID card. God bless. I can't tell you this. I'm going to have to find out. I'm going to find out where it is that they would issue their IDs. They have not spoken to us in a little while, but I'm going to call the chairperson and find out there, or the PRO, and find out what's happening. Do you have another call on line there? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
How you doing, buddy? Go ahead.
Very easy, man. Things are working well. Like we got a lot of people with cataract living in Diamond here. Like
they got problem with cataract with the eyes.
They have problem with cataract.
Yes.
I'm telling you since 2008. Look, I live in this area since 1999.
Oh, this is a long time.
Yeah, and this trench has been dug back at the Emerald Bank in 2005 when we had a great history flood. And since then, but 2 or 3 years after they maintained this trench, it hasn't been dug, it hasn't been weed. What it did, like they get people to clean the middle. And after that, this thing started to build up. And I'm telling you, because this government and the previous government, they had people, ministers and high-ranking people living in this area. And apparently, when they meet by the bridge, they close their eyes. That's why you see this bridge here is they got accident. Because when they close their eyes, a lot of people go and hit them. And I doubt whether this trench can be clean. This trench, you can walk with 10 tons of a thing on your shoulder and go over it. How it's so hard. I don't know how they can clean this trench here. But this trench is the only waterway, the only main way. When this area flood, this water can go out. And when you get rain, then other spaces flood. If people here, this flood, this water take long, and this water stink, I can tell you. And there's a lot of reptiles in this trench. You can't tell me from 2008 to now, nobody seems to know or see anything to dig this trench. Something got to be done. I don't know how they can dig this trench, but this thing got to be clean somehow, man. Somehow they got to be clean. If this thing don't clean, this place can always flood.
Here what you can do for me, because I remember you and I spoke about this a couple of times. Here what we can do. Send a letter, and this is how we can do it now. There's a new minister there. Send a letter to the NDC chairperson. Gita, I think, is there. There's a Grove Diamond NDC. Then copy a letter, that letter to the Minister of Local Government, Niger Damlal. I'm going to raise it with him, and maybe they would come up with the engineers would
Uh,
have to find a solution.
can I talk to you after here just for a second and come back and here?
No, no,
It can
it's
happen?
it's difficult to do it
Let
here.
me call you on your cell phone and go talk to you because it's something which I can't operate on
No problem, my brother.
because
After the show.
it can be a bit difficult. But another thing too, you see this bridge get a lot of accidents. I don't know if they got camera there or whatsoever, catch these people them. And whenever this accident happen to me, like this camera don't work.
Hmm.
I think they got a camera somewhere around there, like I don't know by the roadside or by the bridge.
Uh-huh.
But I don't see it. But people told me they got a camera. So I don't know how long it is there or what happened if it's not working. But it seems to me this bridge damaging steady. People I don't know how they're missing this bridge, man. This bridge is not a force.
No. You see, you got a problem there. When they built, that scheme came into being, nobody ever catered for the volume. We have more than it's thousands. I can never get a right figure how many thousands live within Grove and Diamond area there. That new scheme. And it was never they never catered for that volume of traffic that you see going in and out there every single day. We could have never envisioned it would have been something like that. They need to clear that whole road, and there has to be some kind of solution to fix that traffic issue. And I think the idea is that they're going to project the road from the Ogle bypass there straight along these banks. So somewhere along the idea they're going to fix that. But that whole area, that whole in front of that bridge there, it has an issue. Even me who live in there, turning into that road, they got a difficulty. You got to careful. You got to take a wide turn and then come in back. It is very, very difficult at the Diamond Road head there.
No, but we got people who buy their license. The problem is not the amount of people. The problem is how they drive in. This is the problem.
Well,
In that kind of 5 million people can come out of here, but the way people drive, man.
No, it's not only about the driving. It comes back to an entire discipline problem that we have as a people in this country. We like to do things, if we know that we're being charged, instead of the policeman give us a ticket, we'd walk with him to the station and why are you walking with the policeman to the station? Give me my ticket, let me go. I'm going to come pay it. But guess what? We do everything. We pay a bribe. We go to the thing. If there's a line and there's a traffic jam ahead, you're going to see 5 lanes develop right there. What does that speak? How does that speak to you as citizens of this country? What does it say about them? So this is a nonsense. Because I'm sitting there, the bridge has opened the traffic at the Demerara Harbor Bridge. What you're going to find minibus undertaken, overtaken. You have 5 lanes on a 2-lane road. If that's not madness, what is it?
And people late for work.
No, but you have many. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, where are we going? How are we going to do it? So there's a traffic jam. It's unbelievable some of the things that we do. But I hear what you're saying.
And another thing, too, I see policemen at restaurant have no mask on, and they are the ones that guard people and tell you what to do.
All over the country. It's not here.
It's when you see these things, and people now follow these rules and so on, man. I don't know. They said they have penalty, but I don't know if anybody getting penalty for this thing. I doubt whether it's happening.
Trinidad start putting fines. We might have got to start putting fines because like people don't understand. I don't think people understand. All right. Thank you, my brother. Bye-bye. Leonard, why can't the Ministry of Education open up the schools, divide each class into two according to the last names? I have one half attend school in the mornings, in the Mondays and Wednesdays, and the other half attend on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This would allow for the 6 feet social distancing. Let the kids have their lunch in the classroom. Each morning, have one of these temperature gun that can check each child's temperature. It's not fair for all of the online for the online classes because not all of us have access to internet and devices. The ministry and ministers need to think outside the box. How would these students feel that cannot take part in their education because of not being able to have an internet or a tablet? With my plan, if a child is sick, us as parents need not to send the child to school. The pandemic will not end anytime soon, and we will keep and will we keep our kids from learning for all this time? The problem that you have when you open the school, because this is not like America or any place where we have the resources. You have a security guard that may be standing in front. You have students, you don't know where they come from. They're coming in a minibus. You don't know who they would have come in contact with. You don't know what's happening there. And then you send in your kid in school. Because of this situation, yeah, it's not an option that you um, uh, it's not an option that you would want to have at this point in time. Good afternoon. My grandfather died 3 months back, and the GPL and GWI bill come in his name. My grandmother get an old age pension, and she went to change his name on the bills to her name so that they could see that she can be entitled for the subsidy for current. The transport also in his name. Could you please help me there? Um, if she's going to change it into her name, GPL would need to see some kind of authorization, meaning not from the man who's died, but there is, I think, he has to leave some kind of maybe a will, something else that would allow her to have it in her name. You just can't change something into your name if it's in somebody else's name. So GPL would have to say, or GWI would have to say, what are those documents that is required for her to do the transfer into her name. And I think you could probably find out that from GPL. I think it would vary from thing, but there has to be some kind of thing that is either a power attorney. Well, in this case, he's died, so it's a will or a probate or something that would have to see that being transferred. Leonard, good afternoon. If your driver's license expires, can you drive with a receipt that the GRA give you until you receive your license? Yes, you can. It's not such a good idea though, because the GRA is saying that you apply before you get it within a couple of days. But you can do that. At least that is what I was told. I drove with that for a couple of morning. I'm not sure if they've changed the system with that. Good afternoon, sir. Atlantic Wireless Cable. I think I did. Somebody did talk about Atlantic Cable there in a very short while. Good afternoon. My name is Rena Ramachan. Okay. From Fire Street, Alexander Village. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, dear Rena Ramlo Chan. And she's called. She said it's not Fire Street, 4th Street, Alexander Village. I think I have some family in the Alexander Village here. So good day to you, Rena Ramlo Chan. I hope that you're staying safe. Wear your mask, and so wherever you are, it is just about 20 after 2 at the moment, and we are going to head back to the line in a very short while. You are tuned into the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1, 99.5. We also coming to you live on Facebook, on YouTube. So wherever you are, have a pleasant day. It's going to be a weekend. For many, that does not matter. We are in pandemic mode at the moment, and people are suffering. People are living from day to day. And so some people in Berbice are saying that they're very happy. They would have received $25,000. For many in Region 3, Region 4, Region 5, I think Region 2 also, they're saying that they're still awaiting. That's because the government has not gone there as yet. The NDC, I understand, is playing a role in the distribution of this 25,000 to each household. So let's see where that goes. So wherever you are, this is the Wake Up Guyana show. Do we have another caller in line? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
Gildarie, I have two questions. They got Mr. Shakeback, Minister Shakeback. They search for this man all over bringing. But I don't know if we could wake up Mr. Sharma that when Mr. Shakeback was minister in the PDP government previously, he said that the iron in the water is good for human consumption. The government will decide to knock off the operators them at the pump because of the poor water system. And the operator them went to Sharma and cleared the air that Mr. Shakeback is the man who is telling them to lower the pump down or they're going to block up the pump. Now, sir, you don't think that Guyana have somebody who can do the work than to search for a man who went there and had so much of corruption. So we don't want Mr. Sheikh back.
What have you done with it? Have you wrote anything? I mean, have you started anything? Maybe one of the things that people could do. I'm not sure. This is a government appointment. The only way that you could really raise these issues here, I'm not sure how telling me might be. I understand what you're saying, but one of the ways that you could do that is by approaching the party officials. Maybe even if you have a couple of residents who are affected, to write maybe a petition or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know Mr. Sheikh Bass very well, but I know that he was in charge of housing at one point in time, GWI the second instance, and now he's back there. And I know I did see some issues being raised from time to time, but it is what it is. But there are some options that you have that could raise this concerns that you've just aired there. Maybe at a party level, even at the GWI board level as well.
Yeah, you raised some concern that democratic system, that the people voted for a president, and the people are supposed to vote for the minister to put them in place, because that minister went there already, and we had a lot of problems with him. He hired men under him that could run the pump them, and then he still go in and telling the people them that they go block up the pump when and drive it so hard. That is bad, because you as a minister, you got somebody, well then you don't need, you paying the person who you hired under him under false pretense, because he could have do the work. You understand? You only got somebody there because now the next thing I tell you, NDC and more, when the previous government was there, who's opposition now, you could have called them anytime because they had a number 256-3828. But now, when you call them, the number is not in service because the government changed. Why is this happening, sir? I got a neighbor here. I calling them. The neighbor is throwing, I spray the drain. You know the wildlife dams go big? I sprayed them with 240 and wrapping it out. Because the NDC send people to clean it, and they only chop the arrow, and then pull out the thing with them chop, and it grow again next 2 days, grow big again. Now, I spray it. I try to conscious myself, because other people think, now you got a neighbor live kind of me, you throw all the garbage in the drain. Sir, you think all these things could be right? Why these people is doing these things?
All right, I hear you. And did you raise that? Try raising that with the?
I called in the NDC and we not getting the number is not in service.
Which
That's
NDC is this?
Huh?
Which NDC is this?
And more NDC.
I thought they had a very vibrant NDC there. That's strange.
That's what I tell you. Daddy force, I don't know if he's still there, was we can get the laptop. The initiative when Bharat gave out the one laptop for family. And now that you be efficient in the Apunu government, that you could call them steady, but now the number is not in service.
That's strange. I don't think they would want to deliberately disconnect that service there.
Right.
I'm going to try to find out, but keep me posted what's happening there, all right?
Yes, Mr. Gildarie.
Thank you.
This thing is, Mr. Sheikh, but nobody don't want it. And the next thing too, the people are coming. I was a representative. I have thousands of people who just call me, Sir, let me tell you something. That vehicle that Mr. Bharat Jagdeo said that he gave it to the president, the former president, that cost $75 million. I was listening it on the, what do you call his name again? The media something man. And he said that the vehicle not cost so much, but he give it. No, that vehicle, what he gave there is not him money buy the vehicle. The people are concerned about what he's saying. They are corrupting themselves. Now that vehicle is being bought for that president with the taxpayers' money, the people money. Now he just said, you take it. You know what I mean?
There's some, I might want to disagree with you, and then maybe off here I'm going to probably tell you why I say that. There's something that there's some dignity that you afford to president and even past president because they represent the country. But I'm going to talk a little about that because it's an interesting point that you've raised that. So thank you very much for that. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gildarie.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good day.
Yes. So as always, you'd have variant views that come in here. Well, let me read this message here, and then I'm going to come back and talk about maybe address that issue that that gentleman has raised. Mr. Gildarie, good afternoon. Sorry to say, but I thought the Wake Up Guyana show is a program where you can highlight a problem and it will be looked at and aired. It seems not because I have WhatsApp. You concerned in a fraud problem. Let me see. It's not reading right. It wasn't highlighted since August, and the CID is not doing anything about it, also having all the facts. From here, right now, I might have to go to the Home Affairs Minister and see if I could get some help. Anyways, just to keep up that's what you're doing, but must not pick and choose. Thank you very much. I don't pick and choose whoever this person is. I'm not sure. We receive on a daily basis here tons and tons of WhatsApp on SMS as well as persons on the Facebook with messages and so on. We also take in calls. We can't on a daily basis accommodate everything that's here. I may miss some of these messages and we try to address them as fast as we can. What I would suggest that you do, give me some more details. Give me some more details as to what you have here. And I could probably be able to see what I could do because I could send you to the Ministry of Home Affairs or whoever it is if you believe that you're not getting the justice that you deserve. Hi, good afternoon. You're doing a good job. I'm not sure who that person is, but thank you very much. Do you have another call online? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. To ask you, Barristown Road, like when you're going in to the Windsor Estate, they have some huge.
Which road? Bagotstown Road?
Bagotstown Road, yeah.
Yes, that's a dump site road you're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's on my Kaieteur.
Yes.
Plus, before the election, they put these lights on these poles. Right, you and all, none are working now. None.
None are working or the thief it?
No, none are working. I'm like coming out and I see a truck like the thief in the light or something up top of the light. You know that they're climbing up like on a ladder thing like and I stop and haul upon them. The next issue, wasn't supposed to come off your Blaze internet?
I think they're supposed to have taken it off. GT&T is a very strange company. I don't even want to go there. I think they're not supposed to charge VAT on those internet.
Right, because I hear the president say VAT coming off internet.
Mm-hmm.
And normally it would be 15.6 because I got the high Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
And my bill comes for 15.6 again. So I call them and I ask them, they said they don't know about that.
They don't know a lot of things, like including that I got to deliver service to the people. But that's okay. I'm going to try to find out a little about this.
I'm begging you for me, if you can get a road fixed, if you see the zone, and got a lot of things.
I went through there this morning, so I could tell you that it wasn't easy driving through because I turned through. I came through because there was a little blockage at the Harbour Bridge there. So I went into Providence, drove all the way by Windsor Estate, and came out back that road. And I agree with you. I think I saw some people working there trying to fix some holes, but that's in the Windsor Estate area there.
You gotta drive through the night time and see. You don't see it all.
Oh my goodness!
Lights, none of the lights. You see the pole, right? None of the lights are working. None. Straight down to the dump site. None are working.
Thank you very much, my brother.
You have a blessed day.
God bless you.
You're doing a very good job.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Yes. So let me see some other messages are coming in. Why is it, Gildarie, why is it that yesterday for the third time since York's time I have sent messages being sent for some reason or my issues are not being aired? I'm not sure. This is on Thursday. The same person. Let me see. I don't know if your program can help me on this matter. On the 24th of August, since someone hacked into my Superbet account and stole $111,000. I made a report to Gildarie because on the 24th, Superbet says it's a police matter. I give the police a person name and no action. And today the matter is not being investigated. Is there anything to help or to highlight this matter? Thank you very much. Yes, you could go to the police complaints authority or to the person who's in charge of that investigator. If that investigator, you could ask to see the crime chief. I think Wendell Blanham, tell them that Gildarie sent you, or tell him Gildarie sent you from Kaieteur Radio. If you don't get that, you could go to the police complaints authority and ask, make a complaint, file a complaint, and they would have to explain what's happening with this case. Because if you provided information and it's not being looked at, I'm not sure they would have to give a proper explanation with regards to this. So it is the Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. Want to say good day to wherever you're joining us from. It is a very hot day out there. We're coming on to a weekend again, and it is something. Is it okay to wear a mask in the back now? I'm not sure. If nobody is around you, why wear a mask? I won't do it. Let me see what else here before we go back to the line. What's so wrong for parents to teach their children from a book? My grandson can read and spell at the age 7. My daughter won't give him an electronic book. You see, the problem is that if you're being taught in school, this is different from if the parents is teaching the kid at home. If you're in school and they're teaching it by that, you'd have to be facilitated. You're not present in the classroom. So I'm not sure if I'm answering you. I think you have the issue here a little mixed up. It's okay for the parents to teach children from a book. We do that all the time. I teach my kids in the books. And don't stop doing that. You need to engage the children. You need to make jokes with them, find out what is bothering them. Someday, I think the kids get upset at me because they think I take my jokes a little too far. But there's my way of engaging it. I think they understand who I am at the moment. But let's don't stop talking to our children. They have all kinds of things. And you know the kids nowadays, they ask you all kinds of things about sex, about what is happening in school, about girlfriend, about interracial relations, about whole months of stuff. If I come home a day and I have somebody from another race, what would you say? Those are the kind of things. Engage your kids. That's what you could do. Be a good parent. You might not have to have the money. You might not have all the money in the world, but you could show them some love. Pay attention, because it's not all time they say that a university education is going to be there for you. You must have some kind of road sense too, but not having an education. They say there's a very old saying, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Hi, good afternoon, guys. I'm just finding one thing about the government of Guyana COVID-19 cash grant. Are the police and by extension the armed force not entitled to the cash handout as well? Not sure if you can assist with my inquiry. Would be grateful. This is coming from Mr. Torres. Mr. Torres, it is for all citizens in Guyana, and this thing here is very simple. If you're living at home and the people come to your home and you are living there, you're supposed to get your $25,000. I'm not sure if you're asking me if you're in the army and the house is locked up, how does that? How do you deal with a situation like that? I have absolutely no idea. I presume the army would have some kind of thing, but we have to. I would have to ask some questions about that for the army, and how do we deal with that? That's a very serious situation. So we have Riaz in the house. Riaz comes in here every single day, and like Raj, I don't think he have an understanding that whether you're on air, any noise that comes in from outside, you hear it. So he comes in there, bite through, the breeze is blowing. A good day to you, Riaz. How you doing?
Gushing. A young lady was get my attention just.
A young lady getting your attention. What are you seeing on the road there? Everything is good?
The road traffic is flowing decently. Good afternoon, everyone. Flowing decently at the moment, getting into the studio. Not the brightest of sunshine. Nice cool weather, which is good. As it is. Days look good, other than I'm sure you're aware, and we've all seen hundreds of cans of items, expired goods on the market.
Oh, that is something that really had me going yesterday. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing?
You know, I blame two sets of people for this.
Yes.
And one of the first person to be blamed, or set of people to be blamed, and I use the word we as consumers. Because
you're supposed to be checking.
Have to. Listen, my motto Let's check these things. Fine. And I'm saying you have to check it. You're the first person to be blamed. Yeah, you got a long list of persons to be blamed, but it's I don't want to use the word unscrupulous. But I am.
Let me use it. I like to use the word.
But I'm forced to use the word.
You're scamp.
Yeah.
Riaz is a scamp. Rat is a scamp.
Yeah.
You gotta say it, man.
2017, 2018? Come on, if you'd tell me, well, what happened? These things had expired at 2 months, a month ago. That's unscrupulous to the next level.
You would have to know in business,
right,
whatever it is that you're doing, if you're in race car business or whatever, if your engine start knocking, if you're driving and you hear a noise, you want to check it.
Yeah.
If you're in the business of selling food, you would have to check certain things. But you don't buy medications and you don't check expiry, or what is it? I mean, it's like buying drugs, right? It's like buying pharmaceuticals. You buy this Tylenol PM and Tylenol, the normal one. If you would have to check if it's Tylenol PM. You would check if it's expired. Those are things. I think it becomes. But
I'm a bit amazed as to that.
The vendors, you're scams. At the end of the day, get your act together. They should jail you all ass. Well, so take that off. Take that off the air there right away. Raj, take that off. I did say something that's bad. I did something like a former minister there. Hall, you what? I'm not going to say it. A good day to you, Mr. Kamrad Ramzatan. You know, for everything, I like Mr. Kamrad Ramzatan. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And you could bet your bottom dollar there's going to be action whenever he's around.
We could agree to disagree.
I interviewed him on a couple of occasions, and he was very explosive character there. And so Guyana is full of characters. And Mr. Ramzatan, I understand that you had your it's the anniversary the other day. But let's go right back to some calls. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead. Yes, good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm a concerned resident of Supanam.
Supanam. Yes, that's on the Essequibo coast there. Tell me.
Yes. My mother is a diabetic and no insulin at the hospital.
How long this happening now?
Like a month or so.
Like when?
Like a month.
1 month. And what did they tell y'all?
No insulin, and they don't know when they would get.
All right. I'm going to be telling this to... this is at the Saudi hospital?
Yes.
I'm going to be raising this right away, immediately after the show here with the health authorities. Because this is serious,
next
right?
thing I would like...
Go ahead.
Yes. In Supanam, it have a shop. The shop would be opening so late in the night. A lot of people be there. The police also does be there. I'm not aware of the commander, no. But gathering this happened. So I would like the police force to look into this matter.
Did you try raising it with the commander across here?
If you raise it,
what happened? Did you try?
They would call your name and...
No, you could pick up the phone. What you do, you pick up the phone and say, I'm a concerned resident of Supanam here, and I'm calling to tell you right now this is the case. You guys got to know how to do this thing. Nobody's checking, but you need to talk, and then you need to call again. I'm calling Mr. Sharma. I'm calling Mr. Gildarie at the Kaieteur radio. I call him Riaz or Raj, and you complain. And to let them know, you got to embarrass them, get them scared. You need to do that.
Okay.
Don't be afraid. You got to understand that you have some rights. So you got a big mouth. You got to start opening it, right?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a blessed day.
You too. All the good folks down there on the Essequibo coast, Region 2, how you doing? And how is the taxi drivers, the minibus drivers, and of course the high car drivers? Many complaints about you guys charging too much, charging beyond the fare increase there. And so next week we're going to take you guys on, because we'd have to bring some guys, some people, some representatives, some experts who are going to tell us what is it that you could legally do and not do with regards to the fairs. And so we're going to bring them in, the traffic officials, maybe from the Ministry of Industry, Trade, Industry and Commerce here, to tell us a little about that. I think there's some regulations when it comes to what high car could charge, what minibus could charge. Riaz, do you know anything of it?
I don't actually, in the sense of the charges, but I do know that it will all fall on the like how there's that Minibus Association Act and everything. In terms of the overcharge, that's very tough. I think a passenger should find out the fare before getting into a vehicle. If you go from point A to point B, what is your charges? But I think something need to be regularized so that both parties could be comfortable at the end of the day. To overcharge is unscrupulous is the number one word for me today.
Well, I'm becoming a little impatient with the nonsense that's happening. And let me, what we've been saying over the last couple of weeks, in fact, since from March 2nd, as a citizen of this country, there's something called the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and it tells you what are some of your rights and so on within this country here. And I know many of us would look towards the media persons and so on to bring your concerns out there in the open. And this is what I'm going to say to you. We've got to start to learn to think on our feet. Whenever your business, a man called me this morning, very, very upset, and he was speaking, and I knew that something was wrong with him. And he says, my employer, he owns a sawmill, and he hasn't been paying us. And so there's two sides to every story. So I said, why is he paying? He said, when I call him, he's not even answering his phone. So I said, what's the guy's name? Give me the name. So I pick up the phone because I knew the guy. I said, what's happening here? He said, payday is not yet. The guy is drunk. So there's two sides to every story. We have got to learn to think quickly on our feet, because people are going to try to make us, how do you say, the boys would say mooks. Yeah. I'm not a mook. So you got to be very smart. Keep thinking, how could, if you dare seated as the NDC chairman, and you're not coming and clean, but you expect me to come pay your rates and taxes, and I see you at the rum shop every day with a vehicle, I'm going to take a picture of that vehicle and send it to the minister or have it published somewhere on Facebook or somewhere. You just start to embarrass people because you came to me and you asked me to vote for you so you could deliver some services, and you're not doing that. And when I'm calling you, you turn off your phone or you're not available. You're all the time in a meeting. And we have some very smart secretary here. Yes, the boss is in the meeting. Gildarie's in the meeting, you know. He's been in the meeting there for 4 hours. Okay, I'm going to call back at 6 o'clock. He's still in the meeting. What kind of meeting you having? He's having a marathon meeting. This is the kind of nonsense that people hear. But what about service, Riaz?
Yeah, that is true. They serve, remember that you're sworn to an oath of office to serve the people. And we're the people of the nation, whether you're an NDC or whether you're ministers all together, so that overall the development of the nation happens, and it has to start somewhere or the other. It starts at a small scale before getting onto a large scale.
Open your mouth. Yep. You have rights. The Constitution affords you those rights.
Talking about that, just a quick public announcement to persons. The Ministry of Housing, they're not giving away lands, buying lands. I've got about 10 messages between the last 3 hours asking me that my mom gone there and what can we do? No, they are only giving out the titles.
So those people would have applied and approved.
Or you could make an application, but you need to get all the relevant documents with you as well. Someone asked why they have insurance and all. Those are services that those companies are providing, like the banks and the insurance. It's services that they're providing. So they were asked if they're interested to be part of that expo, because you would have collected your title. Your next step is obviously a financial institution. You have about 2 or 3 there. They're trying to sell you to take a loan from them. That is the reason why those companies are there. So don't waste your time or go into the hot sun. And then I saw someone posting a video and trying to make a mockery off of it. Is read and write. These people don't do. Come on, that's not first. And I bypassed that video, and I bypassed the video that you shared. I noticed with that young lady of an act that I condone. A pun intended for a joke, but some
something. I think I saw it, and
right?
I think I look back at it, right? And in retrospect, she has some she has some points, but that's why I said
it's a pun intended for a joke, but it kind of came out wrongfully. I'm not trying to cover for this young
no,
lady.
no,
I
no, no,
don't
no,
know her,
she
but
needs some help. She
we
needs some
need
help.
some
here.
help, and especially our youngsters on social media. Know what you speak, know what you say, because these same videos could come to haunt you back down the road professionally.
Well, that's a very good
Right.
point because you bring me to something that I think yesterday I received a call. I was doing something and somebody says, I was called to go to the ARC about a post that I made on something. As a very well known, I can't say his name. He says he went there and he had to explain his side because he says, you know me, I'm not a racist or so. But the way how you do things, when you make a video, you should look, what is the message I want to say?
Exactly.
Does it uplift my life?
Exactly.
Is it going to bring a smile to somebody? Is it true? Is it in good taste?
I saw the young lady got a lot of criticism, and I condemned that video because it had
Yeah.
bad taste into it. It was a joke that she was probably just trying to probably put over unknowingly, and this is me just paraphrasing,
Yeah.
but it was not called for in the context at this time of our country.
Thank you very much. Do we have another caller there, Raj? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Leonard.
How you doing, my brother? Go right ahead.
Rough, man, rough.
You're rough?
Yeah.
No, man. You got to tell us. Let's ease this roughness. What's happening?
The nurses
Uh-huh.
posted at different locations. What type of security being provided for those people? Because why I ask this question is because a long time passed since Nurse Apple was found dead at Major Nurses Hostel and a nurse at Kokwani. We ain't hearing nothing about that.
And was it suicide or was it murder?
Well, we still ain't hear anything. Because I know at the hostel supposed to get a house mother plus
Right.
security.
Right.
At Kokwani, well, there was a house thing.
Uh-huh.
The nurses' safety on hold.
I'm not sure. These are things that probably when you guys raise it, did you try raising it with the commander in the area? So see what they say. I'm interested because I like to know that the systems that we have work.
Well, we don't get any seminar or anything to raise things with anybody, you know. Another thing, the doctor's quarters at New Amsterdam, the security company not providing toilet for those people, the workers. Those people will be working without no toilet in the doctor's compound. Imagine that.
Well, imagine this: a lady called a policewoman or somebody that was guarding those people. I think it was Cubans that came in here through Burbies, and they were keeping them in quarantine there. And the lady had to use the bushes.
Just like the patients there?
Well, you see what I'm saying? We got a very broken system. I don't know what to say. And these are what you're saying there. Every single day we receive those things. There's even accusation too, and this is going to shock you, that some security company and Gildarie trying to put this in as delicate manner as possible. Riaz here, there's some security company supervisor go wrong, and even to see the woman there. If that woman want to be posted in a place that is comfortable, she got to sleep with him.
My brother.
It's all kind of madness that you hear.
New Amsterdam in a real state. The next time you come on a Saturday to go to Portland Market, you must swing right, man. Don't go straight to the country, swing right. And you check where they got churches, chicken, and check them drain. Right under the town hall nose. Oh, buddy, in a state.
Yes, I hear you there, my brother. We gotta continue this conversation.
Well, you keep allowing us to air these things, man.
Well, it's not my show, it's your show, you know. We just facilitate it here.
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you very much, my brother. So all across wherever you guys are, Riaz, anything you want to say before we call it George?
That's very interesting in terms of what's happening in New Amsterdam, and I've seen I wanted to think that I've seen works going on, and I'm a bit surprised as to that. It makes me probably want to. I know my dad knows the regional chairman a little bit more better than I. Makes me want to let him make that call and find out. And this is a great concern. As I'm shocked. This is not about the security part, but I've been to Berbice. I haven't been in a while, but I haven't really had the opportunity to traverse it directly, and I'm a bit amazed of that call. I'm not saying he's lying, don't get me wrong, but I am surprised. So I'll probably call. I know my dad is locked in. I'll probably call on him to call the regional chairman and ask him about these complaints of what's happening in New Amsterdam.
We got to pay. I don't think I'm seeing some of the complaints that we're having.
Okay, let me. Oh, I heard you were coming in. Let me address that for the benefit of you and the benefit. So, listeners, if you're on a Go Live Facebook, it is extremely difficult, and I've said this every day on radio, on air, for only the comfort of the viewers. It is extremely difficult for us as a presenter to see every single comment. Let me explain. Take your phone and go and do a Go Live for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And the messages, sometimes they come in slow. And when there's a slight glitch in a drop in the internet at a millisecond, that's a pause that one or two messages just went through the door. And you can't get them back. Sometimes you cannot scroll up to get it back. I understand that persons, especially on the live, your comment was not being read or it was not looked at. I could tell you it is never intentional on me, and I could go to the box and say the same with Gildarie here. It is difficult to track all the messages on a Facebook Live. If you've experienced it, then you'll be able to say what I am saying right here. I say this every day on air, just so I try to please the listeners.
No, we not here. We don't have, and you're right. You're so right, Riaz. For us here, I enjoy this. The more the merrier. If you want to write and criticize Gildarie, I'm going to have the right to respond. You have the right to do that. Yeah. If you want to criticize Glendale or this newspaper, this is not about us. It's about having conversation, having good conversation, talking about it. Let's find solutions together. Let's talk about the issues. What is bothering? Because I think it is very, very clear now that a lot of people don't understand the role as a citizen that you're supposed to be playing. You're supposed to be opening. You know, in America, when I look at Al Jazeera, I look at CNN,
I'm a fan as well.
And so when you look at it and when you see people who are activists with the placards and they're making speeches, Al Sharpton and the rest of the folks, and they're opening them out and they're talking about issues. And when you see they understand what the rights are, and when you see policemen come in and people are videoing you and so on, you start getting a thing, I have a lot of powers. It's not you. You as a politician don't have powers. I vote you in. So you got to understand that you got to serve.
Correct.
So that is where we're going to come back. We're going to part with you there. And I want you to chew on that, because this weekend is for you to start waking up. Because there's a Wake Up Guyana show here on Kaieteur Radio. Start understanding your rights. Start understanding that this country here, that if you want a better life, that you have to start fighting for it. We want to see tree-lined avenues. We want to see lights. We want to see places where there are parks for kids that we could go play. We want to see education system where teachers, and we don't have to worry. I have a little a family. The little girl started school now, play school or preschool, I think it is, that she's in Long Island. And the school has given the kids, I think, the tablets. So she's at home in a little corner on the table there, first time doing it. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we should try to be in a position where our schools, our system has so much money, and it is that we have the money here. And we have to just leave it as that. I want you to chew on it and understand what kind of rights that we have as citizens of this country here. And I want you to wake up your soul, wake up Guyana, with an understanding that as we go forward, do not allow a day to waste. I got up at 3 o'clock this morning, went to bed at 12, got up back at 3 because I realized I had to do something, work and finish my thing at 6 o'clock this morning, went back, take a 2-hour sleep, get up again and do it. So you have to understand, when you have work to do, you have to get up and do it.
Correct.
So get up and work for this country. Get up and wake up your soul. So thank you very much. Have a pleasant rest of the week. until we meet on Monday, same place, same time. And want to say thank you very much to Raj at the control here, Joshua, and of course WRE has always been coming a little early in preparation for his show and always keeping us company. And of course to the rest of the folks who've been joining us wherever you join us from, and we have many of them overseas. And today has been a good day. Have a pleasant rest of the day. Until